We live in an age of food anxiety. Every trip to the grocery store can feel overwhelming as we're bombarded with choices and warnings at every turn. The simple act of deciding what to eat has become a source of stress for many, as we try to balance convenience, health, and conflicting advice from experts and the media. Headlines warn us daily about ultra-processed foods, UPFs, painting them as addictive, dangerous, and the root of modern health crises. News stories and social media posts amplify our fears, suggesting that these foods are responsible for everything from obesity to cancer. It's easy to feel like every bite we take is a potential risk, and that our kitchens are filled with hidden dangers lurking in every package. Grocery shopping now feels like navigating a minefield of guilt and confusion. We scrutinize ingredient lists, debate over which products are safe, and second-guess our choices. The pressure to make the right decision can be paralyzing, especially when even experts can't seem to agree on what's best. But is this fear justified? Is the problem really the processing, or is it the sugar, salt, and fat in these foods, or something else entirely? Scientists are working hard to untangle the complex web of factors that influence our health, from the way foods are made to the nutrients they contain, and even how we eat them. Science is always evolving, and some researchers now question whether focusing on processing is the best way to understand diet and health. New studies are challenging old assumptions, suggesting that the story might be more complicated than we thought. Perhaps it's not just about the processing, but about the bigger picture of our diets and lifestyles. Maybe it's time to step back, look at the evidence, and ask, are we right to be so scared of ultra-processed foods? Let's dig in, explore the science, and see if we can find some clarity in the chaos. After all, understanding what's really on our plates might be the first step toward a healthier, less fearful relationship with food. When we talk about ultra-processed food, or UPF, we're referring to a category defined by the NOVA classification system. This system doesn't just look at what's in our food, but rather how it's made, specifically, how much it's been altered by industrial processes. Instead of focusing on the nutrients or calories alone, NOVA asks, how far has this food strayed from its original form? Foods are sorted by the extent of processing, not by their vitamin or mineral content. This means that even if a food is low in fat or sugar, it could still be considered ultra-processed if it's been heavily modified in a factory. Group 4, ultra-processed, includes things like fizzy drinks, packaged snacks, instant noodles, and ready meals. These are foods that are often designed for convenience, long shelf life, and maximum flavor. But they're also far removed from anything you'd find in nature. You'll usually spot them by their long ingredient lists, which often include additives, preservatives, artificial colors, and flavor enhancers, ingredients you wouldn't use at home. Critics argue that these foods are a major driver of rising obesity rates and chronic diseases worldwide. They point out that UPFs tend to be high in calories, sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats, while offering little in the way of real nutrition. However, it's important to note that most of the research linking UPFs to health problems is observational. These studies can show us patterns and associations, but they can't prove that one thing causes another. So, is it the UPFs themselves that are making people sick? Or is it that people with less healthy lifestyles simply eat more of these foods? The answer isn't always clear, and there are many factors at play. Not all UPFs are created equal either. Some may be worse for you than others, and just because two foods are both ultra-processed doesn't mean they have the same impact on your health. Remember, correlation doesn't always mean causation. So as we dig deeper, we have to ask, how strong is the evidence against ultra-processed foods, and what does it really mean for our health and the choices we make every day? The case against UPF seems clear. Studies link them to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, but people who eat lots of UPFs often have other risk factors. Less exercise, lower income, more stress. Is it the food or the lifestyle? The UPF category is broad. A sugary donut and a high-fiber packaged bread are both UPFs, but hardly equal. When researchers control for nutrition, the link between UPFs and poor health often weakens. Maybe it's not the processing, but the nutrients, or lack thereof, that matter most. The real question, would a nutrient-poor diet made from unprocessed foods be any healthier? Maybe we should focus less on demonizing UPFs and more on our overall diet and lifestyle. Someone who eats mostly whole foods but enjoys the occasional snack is in a different place than someone living on convenience meals. Socioeconomic factors matter. UPFs are often the most accessible option for many. Blaming individuals ignores the bigger picture. Access, time, and money shape our choices. High UPF intake may signal a generally poor diet and lifestyle, not just a food problem. Real change means making healthy choices easier and more affordable for everyone. So what should we do when faced with endless shelves of packaged foods and tempting treats? The answer isn't to fear every box or bag, or to try to cut out all processed foods and snacks from our lives. In today's world, that's just not realistic for most of us. Food is more than just fuel, it's part of our culture, our celebrations, and our daily routines. Instead of aiming for perfection, let's focus on making thoughtful choices that fit our lives and bring us joy. Moderation, balance, and variety are key. Try to fill your plate with mostly whole foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, whenever you can. But don't stress if you reach for a ready meal, or enjoy a treat now and then. Life is busy, and sometimes convenience is necessary. What matters most is the overall pattern of your eating, not any single meal or snack. Take a moment to read nutrition labels. Look for foods higher in fiber and lower in added sugars or sodium. Even when you choose processed foods, you can boost their nutrition by adding veggies, nuts, or seeds. Small tweaks like tossing spinach into pasta or adding beans to soup can make a big difference over time. Remember, small positive changes are more sustainable than strict all-or-nothing rules. Swapping white bread for whole grain, adding fruit to your breakfast, or cooking one more meal at home each week can all add up to better health without feeling overwhelming. And let's not forget, sometimes the real challenge isn't the food itself, but our fast-paced, stressed lifestyles and the fact that not everyone has equal access to fresh, healthy options. It's important to be kind to ourselves and recognize the bigger picture. Ultimately, let's aim for a healthier, more relaxed relationship with food. One that's based on nourishment, enjoyment, and self-compassion, not guilt or fear. Sharing meals with others, cooking together, and savoring what we eat can all be part of a balanced approach. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in the messy middle, where we can enjoy both fresh and processed foods, make choices that work for us, and find balance in our own way.